podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
The Two-Footed Podcast is brought to you by EPLindex.com and our presenting sponsor, Liberty Shield. Liberty Shield is a VPN provider. A virtual privacy network allows you to go online, change your location, access things you're geo-blocked from, while keeping your data safe. So, as an example, if you are a UK expat and want access to BBC iPlayer to watch Match of the Day, or ITV Hub, or all four, will you get that message that says this content is not available in your location? A Liberty Shield VPN gets you around that block, allows you to watch whatever you want on those services, while also keeping your data safe. And it goes further than that. It allows you to open up Netflix's entire library by just changing your IP address. Liberty Shield is the #1 rated VPN provider on Trustpilot with 5-star ratings across the board. So go to libertyshield.com right now, use the code EPL25 and get either the hardware package or the software package. The hardware package is a router that you plug into your existing router, and any item you want to change the IP address on, be it your phone or your television, you connect that to the new Liberty Shield router. All other items can remain connected to your existing router. There's also a software package which is instantly downloadable to your device and you can get using straight away. Again, libertyshield.com, EPL25 for 25% off at checkout. We're also brought to you by Home of Hopcroft, a giftware and homeware company located in Scotland but shipping worldwide. Check out homeofhopcroft.co.uk and do check out the EPL Index and Anfield Index shops, which you'll find on Etsy. Use the codes EPL10 or RED10 for 10% off at checkout. And lastly, do remember to check out A Tad Predictable, hosted by Tadiwa. That podcast is on this feed before every Premier League match week. And then the EPL Roundtable, hosted by Kevin DeVries, on its own EPL Roundtable feed. So just search EPL Roundtable in your podcast device. And that's out after every match week. Now, on with the show. What's good, boys and girls? Two-Footed Podcast. Today is Thursday. It is the 1st of August. Hope you're all well and having yourselves a pleasant day. Today's Thursday, which means it's Questions Day, so we're going to launch straight in. Isaac Gilding, which relative unknowns do you think could have a breakout season? Maybe 2 or 3 picks from each of the top 5 leagues. Okay. Let's start in Spain, and let's go with Javi Vieira, who not a lot of people talk about. He's at Valencia. Big, powerful, rangy midfielder. Huge potential. I think he's one that people should keep an eye on. And I'll go Mika Marmol, who is at Las Palmas, left-footed centre-back, can also play left-back. I think he's another really good one. Really good in the ball, came to the Barcelona Academy, left to go and get his chance elsewhere. Really good for Las Palmas last year. So I think they're the two from La Liga that I would suggest. In terms of the French League, I mean, when we say unknowns, are we talking about players that haven't been on the radar at major clubs or players that are new to the division? I'm going to go with someone that I've talked about a bunch because I just think the majority of the football watching public don't know this kid. He's been at Metz. He's now moved to Monaco. I think Lamine Camara is going to be a huge breakout star in the French League in the coming season, 2 seasons, whatever it is. He is a sensational talent that's worth everybody's time stopping to give him the opportunity to impress them because he's just that good. The next one, another player that I've mentioned a few times, but I think one that's primed to really step forward next year, Andy Diouf at Lens. 21-year-old box-to-box midfielder, energy for days, powerful, was brilliant on a loan at Basel, moved to Lens, and I think this season we're going to see him really kick on his second year there. So that's who I'll go with for the French league. In Italy, Serie A, this is a bit more difficult. There's a couple that I think do stand out to me. The first one I'm going to go with is maybe one who won't play a huge amount. I don't know actually how much he's going to play, but he's just moved to Como. Jandl Engelhardt. I think he's going to be really, really good. He was in the Werder Bremen Academy and was talked up a lot. Moved to Freiburg. They didn't give him any kind of opportunity. Immediately shipped him on to Fortuna Dusseldorf. He was brilliant for them last year in the second division in Germany. And he's earned himself a good move to Como to work under Cesc Fabregas. So I think he's one that a lot of people won't be aware of, and they should be aware of. I think he's got a big chance to be a really good player. The other one I'm going to go for is a bit of a homer pick. I'm going to pick Genoa, Alan Maturo, the Uruguayan centre-back. He's 19. He'll turn 20 in October. I'm very hopeful this is the season Genoa finally give him real opportunity. This kid is a big, big time talent and one I think could have a massive future in the game. So I'll go with those two for Serie A. The Bundesliga, there's always a lot of good talent in the Bundesliga. There's always a lot of players that pop up each and every season that, were flying under the radar or had an opportunity at a bigger club and maybe it didn't work out, so they moved somewhere else and, people kind of saw them as, they're not quite of the elite level. So it's hard. It's always hard to sort of pinpoint. I think I'll go, again, I'm going to go with a homer pick, but I think I'll go Skelly Alvaro, midfielder. Actually, do you know what? I won't go with him. I won't pick two from the clubs that I follow. But I do think he's one to keep an eye on. Right. Borussia Mönchengladbach. A lot of good players have come through there in recent years. I think Rocco Reitz is one for everybody to keep an eye on this year. I think he's going to step up significantly. Last season was his first season playing for them, and he had a kind of a breakthrough year. I think this season he will announce himself into the German national squad, and I think he's one that everybody should be keeping an eye on. And for a second one from the Bundesliga, I mean, everybody now knows Pacho, otherwise it would have been him. So don't think people are aware of how good he is. But I'm going to go Arella Amenda, centre-back. Swiss, 6'4", quick, powerful, dominant in the air, good on the floor, good pass through the ball, comfortable in possession. I think if they play a back three that contains Amenda and Pacho, it's going to be one of the best young defensive groups in Europe. So I'm going to go with him and Rocco Reitz as the Bundesliga players. And then in the Premier League, I'm going to go with Mari Hutchinson. I know a lot of people have heard of him. I'm just not sure a lot of people have seen him. Started off life at Chelsea, joined them at 5, was with them till he was 9, went to Charlton for a couple of years. Then he joined Arsenal when he was 12. And he stayed there till he was 19 and never got an opportunity. Decided to leave, went to Chelsea. They loaned him out last year to Ipswich. He was fantastic in helping Ipswich get promoted. Ipswich decided they couldn't live without him. They paid big money to bring him back, club record fee. I think he is absolutely one to watch. He's decided he wants to play for the Jamaican national team. He's an England youth international. I think it's a good decision for him because England have a lot of options in the wing positions. I think he could potentially surprise a lot of people in the coming season. And then for a second one, so again, I think it's easier to look at a promoted team and maybe go with someone there. Someone that maybe the Premier League isn't expecting to be as good as it is, as good as they are. I really want to say Carlos Alcaraz of Southampton. I really want to go with him because I think he's very, very good. I genuinely think he could play within 2 years. I think he could be starting regularly for one of the big eight, the big six plus Newcastle and Villa. I think he's that level of talent. I think he's very, very good. But I'm going to say Ronnie Edwards, just because he's someone that I've talked about a lot. He's gone and moved to Southampton this year. I don't think he's going to be a starter, but I think if he gets opportunities, he will impress. So I'll go with Ronnie Edwards as my second. Mikhail Campbell. Can you put together your best 23-man squad of former Liverpool players who played for the club during the 90s and won for the 2000s? Who would win a hypothetical match between the two teams? Right. Well, let's start with 2000. So because it's going to be easier. I'm going to go with Reina in goal. Right back will be Arbeloa. Left back will be Risa. Centre backs, a little bit controversial maybe, but I'm going Sami Hyypiä and Daniel Agger. Midfield, it's going to be Mascherano. It's going to be Alonso. It's going to be Gerrard as the 10. And then in the wide positions, this is where Liverpool were weak. Torres is obviously the 9. This is where Liverpool were weak in the 2000s, was in those wide positions. However, you didn't say that they had to join Liverpool in a certain decade. You said they had to play within that decade. Patrick Berger played for Liverpool from 96 to 2003. So I'm going to take late era Patrick Berger. Now, I know he did some injuries. Actually, hang on. He was very injury prone in that time. We're going to drop him. We'll go Harry Kewell for sure. I know, again, injury prone, yada, yada, but Harry Kewell was immensely talented. It didn't work at Liverpool, but in this hypothetical situation with me as manager, I think I can get it to work. So I'm going to go him on the left, and on the right, see, do you know what I'm inclined to actually do? I'm actually going to go Gerrard on the right, Huell on the left, Torres and Owen. Torres and Michael Owen as a front two. So it's 4-4-2. It's Reina, Arbeloa, Hyypiä, Agger, Risa. No, Reina in goal, Finnan at right back, Arbeloa at left back, Hyypiä and Agger in the middle, Gerrard right, Mascherano and Alonso in the middle, Kewell on the left, Torres and Owen up front. I was going to go Owen in the 90s team, but we'll take him for the 2000s team instead. So that's going to be my team of the 2000s. In the 90s, has to be Grobbelaar because I can't be dealing with David James. Rob Jones is the right back. Centre backs will be John Scales and Mark Wright. Left back, feel like it has to be Stig Bjornaby. Actually, might do a little bit of messing about here with this one. When did he sign? Okay, so I'm changing my right back for the 2000s team. It's not Steve Finnan, it's Marcus Babbel. So Marcus Babbel is the right back, and Arbeloa is the left back. In the 90s, Rob Jones is definitely the right back. Scales and right, because Hansen was gone. He retired in 91, and it was like the last year of his career. So I don't feel it's right to pick him. He played for a year. And in fairness, he barely played as far as I can remember. So, not Hansen. No, I like that centre-back pair. I think that's fine. Left back is tough, though. I mean, could I sneak in? Could I sneak in? I suppose I could sneak in a Steve Staunton, even though he only played 3 years. It was the first year and then the last 2 of the decade. I'm going to go Steve Staunton at left back. He was really good for Villa when he was there, so I'll go Steve Staunton. Certainly wasn't going to go Julian Dix. Midfield, we'll play Barnes on the left. Middle of the park, Redknapp. Yeah, I mean, Redknapp is kind of the one that stands out. I think Jan Molby has to be in just for his ability on the ball. I think. See, I don't want to play Molby and Redknapp because I feel like that's a lot of overlap in terms of skill set, and Molby was much better than Redknapp. You do get the tail end of Ronnie Whelan's career. So if we're getting these players in their peaks, then Molby and Redknapp, Molby and Whelan is the pairing. Yeah, Molby and Whelan, I think. McManaman on the right. Fowler and Rush up front. So, Reina, Babel, Hipia, Agar, Arbeloa, Gerrard, Mascherano, Alonso, Huel, Fowler and Owen. No, sorry, Torres and Owen. And then for the 90s, Grobbelaar, Jones, Scales right, Staunton, McManaman, Molby, Whelan, Barnes, Fowler and Rush. If they're all at their peak, it's quite close. But if we base it on how they performed in those decades, then the 2000s team win no matter what. No matter what, the 2000s team win. I'm going to go to break. Back after this. Right, welcome back. So, Phil Walker is back with another question, trying to get me in trouble. Can you rate the journalists' social media influencers based on how accurate they are with their transfer and contract info? Put them into stars. Gold, tin, poo. So gold, tin, and poo. No silver, no bronze here. Right. Gold stars. Undeniably Ornstein. John Percy. Mike McGrath. Adam Leventhal of The Athletic. Paul Joyce of the Times. That might be all that I would rate as gold, to be completely honest. Tin. This is where most of them will be. So, Miguel Delaney, I would say, is in there. Sam Lee, I would say, is in there. Trying to think of transfer-specific journalists. Let's have a look and see if we can get a list here. I mean, the spoofer comes up number one, doesn't he? Romano is 10 because a lot of his information is accurate, but he's a social media influencer. He gets what agents and certain clubs pay him to get. DiMarzio, I would also say, is in the 10 because he's exactly the same as Romano in terms of the same level of spoofing. John Cross, I would put in the poo sector. Mark Ogden, also in the poo sector. James Pearce, 10. From a Liverpool perspective, I would also say Andy Hunter's probably 10, like sometimes good, sometimes not so much. Bascombe, sometimes good, sometimes not so much. So he'd be in the 10 as well. Like, these are decent, but I wouldn't call them transfer journalists. I think they're more just general journalists. So is Adam Leventhal, but he is good on transfer stuff. Mohamed Bahafsi, I would say he is a notch below the ones I put in gold, but a notch above the ones I put in tin. I think Santi, what's his face, he's 10 as well. Pletty Goal, I would say 10. He can be Pletty spoof at times. George Colkin, absolutely gold star. George Colkin is as good a journalist as there is anywhere. Alistair Gold, I would say, yeah, you put him in the gold standard as well. He's very, very good. He's not just transfers, and he is mostly focused on Spurs, but when he says something, it is generally very, very accurate. Mark McAdam, I would say is between tin and gold. I think he's pretty good. I'm just trying to think of others here. Danger Ben is in the poo category, of course. Nicholas Sheila is between poo and tin. He does sometimes get some stuff right. That Ekram guy, he doesn't exist. He's firmly in the poo. There's that Portuguese fella who actually doesn't exist either, so he's in the poo. Let's see. Who else is there? What's the guy's name with the Times? Matt Dickinson. I would say he's an excellent journalist, and when he comes out with something that is transfer related, I always listen. So I would say he's in the gold group as well. But he doesn't do tons of transfer stuff. Daniel Taylor, undeniably gold star. And again, doesn't do a ton of transfer stuff, but when he does, it's always accurate. Do you know what's amazing to me, though? Genuinely amazing to me is that someone like Martin Samuel is so highly regarded in the world of journalism, despite being a terrible set of lads. Yeah, Daniel Taylor undeniably in the gold. I'm just trying to think of who else there is who. Hollickstein, I would say, is probably between tin and gold, but again, doesn't do a lot of transfer-related stuff. Ollie Kay doesn't do a lot of transfer stuff, but when he does, it tends to be accurate. What other influencers are there? There's loads of really crappy ones all trying to be Romano. Obviously, Danger Ben is one who's become quite prevalent with his nonsense. I think that's about it. I think that might be about it. So with that said, I think I'm just going to take another break, do the news, and then be done. I think it's a really short pod today. I'll see you after this. Right, we're just going to do the gossip and be done for today. Just get a quick one. It's just a strange day. There's nothing going on, so there's no point in me prattling on for too long. Liverpool and England defender Joe Gomez remains open to leaving Liverpool this summer after move to Newcastle fell through in June. Marseille would be willing to pay around 17 million for Eddie Nketiah. That's a little bit low, but the 40 million Arsenal want is far too high, so maybe 25 is fair and everybody can just move on. Palace are willing to let Jordan Ayew leave this summer, with Leicester keen on signing him. It's about time for him to leave Crystal Palace, to be fair. Everton are interested in Ramon Sosa of C8 Talleres, but the Paraguayan forward is also of interest to Nottingham Forest, so we'll see if anything comes of that. Roma's former Chelsea striker Tammy Abraham is wanted by AC Milan. Leicester are attempting to sign Reece Nelson, but it is not currently progressing because Arsenal are holding him out of Leicester's price bracket, which is just very foolish by Arsenal, but no doubt they'll cave eventually. Leeds have made a 2.5 million bid for Ryan Kent. Jose Mourinho is said to be keen to move him on. Paris Saint-Germain have agreed a deal to sign João Neves. This is an odd one. They've taken 51 million plus 9 million in add-ons and Renato Sanchez on loan with an option to buy for about 9 million. He had a 100 million buyout. Now, I don't think he's nearly as good as people make him out to be. I think he's very talented. I think he'll be a good player, but I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. Nottingham Forest are set to sign Jota Silva. That deal's actually been completed today. Wolves and Fulham are entering the race to sign Isaac Touré from Lorient, 21-year-old French defender. Fulham have agreed a deal for 24-year-old Spanish centre-back Jorge Cuenca from Villarreal, left-footed centre-back. So I'm curious to see how him and Bassi's going to work. They still need at least one more centre-back in. Fulham haven't ruled out sending Jay Stansfield on loan again this season. He scored 13 goals on loan at Birmingham last year. And Coventry have muscled in on Hull City's £2.5 million deal to sign Brandon Thomas Asante from West Brom, and we'll see what comes of that one. Right, folks, that's going to do me for today. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Sports Social Podcast Network.